Look who's back from Essen, and you brought some board games with you.
I did.
Hi, I'm Julian, and this is Libby, and together we are Box Meeples. So you're back from Essen Spiel in Germany 2023, and you bought a whole suitcase full of games. So you were there for the whole 4 days, and you got a bounty of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could have rammed more in the suitcase, but I mean, I was at the upper edge of the weight limit when we got to the bag check-in. So space-wise, I could have fitted more. Weight-wise, not so much. And I was there for the full 4 days, but 2 of those days were spent working, so not as much sort of scouring the halls, playing games, packing them in my suitcase.
I think what you say about space is kind of relevant. Normally when we go to UK Games Expo or kind of smaller local conventions, we're in a car.
Yeah.
And we could just stuff as much as we want in the car.
In the boot, in the back seat, in the footwells, on your lap.
But obviously this time you were limited by what you could carry on the plane.
Yeah, and I didn't have one of those little weigh scale things, which we have. I just didn't take it with me. So then there's that constant panic of like, what's going to happen when I take this bag to the check-in belt? But I lucked in. I was only 0.3 of a kilo over, and we let that slide. So that was good.
Probably a fellow board game.
Probably.
But let's get to it. Let's have a look at some of the games you've brought back from Essen. So shall we start off with games that you technically didn't get at Essen, but you got around the kind of Essen time frame?
Yeah, or ones that I would have picked up at Essen if it wasn't that people had sent to or I had the ability to get elsewhere, so didn't have to carry them back, that kind of thing. And I will mention at this point, we will try on every game to say whether it was one that we brought or one that's been gifted to us for content. Hopefully I'll remember everything, but...
Well, let's start off with a game that's been seen quite a lot in some of our videos already. So Among Cultists, and this was sent to us for free by Godot Games, and we played it quite a lot already. We took it with us to Dragonkeepers and played it there. We've been playing it with our usual play group, and it's a social deduction kind of it's based on Among Us, the video game, but obviously with a Cthulhu theme. And this did incredibly well at Essen.
Yeah, they had quite a nice sized stand there. Every time I walked past, the tables were full. On the Sunday when I walked past, everything looked pretty empty. So I wouldn't be surprised if they sold out all by a couple of expansions or something like that. But yeah, a lot of people giving it some great reviews that I've seen, and it seemed super popular at the show. So very pleased and thankful for them to send it to us prior to the show so that we could actually have a play of it.
Yeah, because this is
I mean, it literally arrived like a week before we left for Essen.
And this is chunky, so this would have taken up a space in a suitcase.
It would have, yeah. So
it's good it got sent to us.
Grateful for that. For those of you that don't know, I do my daytime job. I work for Kosmos and Devir, distributing English language copies in the UK and throughout the world other than the Americas. So obviously the launches of those ones here were an expansion Bitoku, which is one of my favourite games, so I've been super excited to get hold of this. The White Castle, which is the BGG hotness list, number 1 at the moment, and did sell out at the show, and was also in German on the Kosmos stand and was really popular there. They both had massive castles.
They had a huge castle.
Yeah.
I saw it in some of your footage.
Yeah.
The massive castle there, and lots of people saying it was their choice of the expo. They're really pleased they managed to get hold of it, and I think again sold out.
It did
at the expo.
Yeah, it did, and we managed to play it quickly once. Just before I left, and had a great time with this game. I mean, we learned it. Thanks to Meeple University, we had a quick watch of their video, and we got it out, set it up, double checked some iconography, which actually I found quite easy to pick up. And at 2 players, we got through our first game of it in an hour, and I think it'll be about
learning to play.
Yeah, and I think it'll be about 45 minutes normally. I was speaking to Shay and Ezra, the designers, whilst we were there, and they say that when they're sort of speed playing it, the 2 of them, they can do it in 25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of choices in this game, so
It's a
yeah.
kind of spiritual successor to Red Cathedral.
Yeah, it will become part of I believe it may become part of a trilogy. We'll see, but there's definitely the duo at the moment.
I really enjoyed Red Cathedral. I prefer this.
Yeah.
Another game that's really popular at Essen this year was Dragonkeepers.
I mean, look at those cute dragons.
And we've played this a few times because obviously we got an advanced copy of it.
Yeah.
We played it with two. We played it with different player counts. We played it with children, and we played it with friends again when we were at Dracon, and
Yeah.
really enjoy it. It's a deceptively deep game.
Yeah, we played it quite a lot at the expo and a lot of the meetings that we had whilst I was working to show people the new games and see what was going to come up for 2024 and things. As this was launching at the show, we were playing this with our sort of clients to sort of give them a flavour of the game because it's not too long to play and you can chat alongside it and things like that. And everyone really enjoyed it. And it does have more tactics than you think in terms of when do you lay down, when do you save your cards, what positions do you place them because you're going to block off your dragons, do you lay them all down and get the special extra points for having done that, do you wait? There's so many decisions in there for what's quite a quick game to
but it says playtime 20 minutes. I think that's probably accurate. But it's a good end of the night go-to game.
Yeah, super cute.
Really cute.
Super cute. So these I did technically get just before the con, but
they still count.
They were launched there. They were popular there. We played it there. It counts. So what was really lovely there was that there was a stand of the Oink games, the Itten games, and the Saatchi and Saatchis together. They sort of shared this big stand, and you can see some of the games that aren't always easy to find at conventions.
Curio games.
Yeah. Well, I think Oink games have been a bit better at sort of being out and about more recently. I have seen them like last year at some conventions, but much like Button Shy and things, you don't always have them here in the UK with the wallets and things like that.
Yeah.
And Itten games certainly you don't always see around.
I'd never seen them before.
Well, we did find them when we did. You would have seen our video recently, Dracon.
Yeah.
We went to a friend's and they had picked up, I think last year, perhaps the year before, like a Kickstarter bundle of Itten games, and we've then become obsessed with them. So we played Viking Seasaw, which is one that I have picked up at Essen, which is a Reiner Knizia game, and you are sort of balancing these different cubes, balls, different things, different weights, different sizes on your Viking boat, and everyone is moving their items that they have that are in their little hairband into the boat. And hoping that everything stays on board, basically. And you kind of put something there thinking, oh, this is going to be awkward. And then everyone else manages it and it comes back around to you and you're thinking, oh, Lordy, why did I do that? Now I've made it impossible. How have they all achieved putting something on? And now I'm in a right pickle.
What I like about this is they're all different weights. So you have some lighter ones and some heavier ones. It's all about balance. So there's quite a lot of things to kind of literally weigh up. Because you want to keep the kind of boat stable, ideally. And I really enjoyed playing this. I laughed so much playing this and 3 Second Try.
Yeah, I did want to get a couple of the others as well, but I was a little bit worried about budget. I mean, these are ones that we did pay for. And I think the problem is I wanted to pick up not just 3 Second Try, which we also played with our friends, but also I played Ninja Master when I was there. And you have to make a ninja pose before you sort of roll the dice and then dive in and collect the right ninja that you want and not fall foul of various things that mean you're going to lose points instead of actually gaining them. And that again was super fun, like a quick game, silly game, one of those games that makes you laugh out loud, as this is, as 3 Second Try is. They're all great games. But I just thought, right now I should probably just get the one, because who knows what's going to happen for the rest of the con, because I wanted to go there quite early because I know that their con be quite popular because they are in demand. But whilst I was there, I've seen so much hype for Tiger and Dragon from Gen Con and the lead up to that. I mean, I love the idea of the Mahjong tiles. I mean, who doesn't love a good component, right? So I couldn't resist picking up this one, and luckily they were on the same stand, as I
That's
said,
convenient.
so super convenient. So I did pick up these two from there.
And you paid for both of these?
I did, yeah.
Another game you got that we played same time as we're seeing our friends to play Viking Seasaw was Sea Salt and Paper, which I think you wanted to get at UK Games Expo and didn't get the chance to, and you've been wanting to get it ever since.
Yeah, well, I'd wanted to get it after loads of people were speaking about it from Aircon last year, back in March. I'd seen a lot of things about it then and thought, oh, it looks great. And yes, we did speak to the guys at Bombyx at UK Games Expo at the press preview, and we saw all about the origami and how they took pictures of actual origami to make the card art and everything. And I don't know what happened. I was busy with work or whatever. And I just didn't end up getting time to get over there and pick up a copy. And I did manage to get one now, so I'm very pleased for that, because we did really enjoy playing it with our friends. But what I was a little bit disappointed by the time I got there and managed to sort out picking it up, they had run out of the extra salt expansion. So I'm going to have to hold on and order that one from one of our friendly local game stores instead. No matter, we have a copy of that now, so that's exciting. So there was a few games that I sort of beeline to go and get. One of which I wanted to get the Marine Worlds for Ark Nova. I knew that you were interested in me picking this one up as well. So and it was at the Feuerland stand. They had both the German and the English copies. Sometimes you sort of go up to these stands and think, oh, I don't know if it's going to have my language in this actual stand, but they did have both, so that was good. And yeah, I just thought, oh, I'll get this whilst I can, as I was wandering past anyway, before potentially they run out. So it was one of the first ones that I sort of went and picked up. And I mean, I probably could have waited for this one, because I think it will be available back here. And there that is that consideration when it comes to Essen, because if we take away the last Sunday when things do get discounted, but anything that's new or is on any kind of BGG hotness of any kind is likely to sell out, and they will be selling them at full RRP. It's not a place to get a lot of bargains for new games. So I probably could have considered waiting and picking it up at my friendly local game store in a couple of months, in a couple of weeks. Who even knows? It could be into next year before they get stock. Not sure. But then for this one, I did think, nah, I want it. I want to get it back to the table. It's an expansion, so it's not like, it's a 60, £70 game that's then going to be reduced by 20-30%, and you think, oh, that was a waste. There's only so much discount you're going to get on an expansion like this. So I figured I would pick it up. I didn't pick up the Revive expansion, kind of kicking myself a little bit, because I enjoyed Revive so much when we played it. But then the other part of me is thinking, actually, there's so much more in that box for us to explore. I probably can pick it up at my friendly local game store when it does release, and at that point we'll be ready for it, rather than just kind of adding it in too early in the gameplay for that game. So but this one we have played quite a lot.
I'm pleased you got it. Last year you got the map pack for Nova. And what I've noticed, I've been looking at the box for this because I don't want to open it because it's yours, is they've now got on the back wooden animals.
Cute.
And there's no wooden animals in the base game. So I wonder if on the horizon will be wooden animals that you can then place in your zoo. mark what animal is in which is a kind of flaw slightly in Ark Nova, because when you obviously release animals, you can't quite remember where they are, and it says in the rules, just turn over anything, it's fine. But I wonder if that's a sign of things to come.
Apparently, it does make it better, particularly at a lower player count. And obviously, we often play this game at 2, in terms of refreshing the card row and being able to cycle through to get the choices. If you are looking to make combos with, say, scavengers or whatever it might be, chimpanzees or whatever, then it apparently does make that easier to be able to
That's
get
good.
the cards that you want. So I'll be intrigued to have a better look at that. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm really pleased you got it. I love Ark Nova, so that's good. Now, I was at home, obviously. Well, I was working as well, but I was keeping an eye on social medias, and as people were posting things, basically looking out to see if I could see you on anything. And I saw that Alleycat Games were having a kind of stock clearance. They're selling these for €10, and this is the Kickstarter edition of Tungaru, which I hadn't heard about, but I looked online and it had boats, and it's €10.
I like boats.
That's about £8.50.
Yeah, and I checked on BGG, and it has, I think, a ranking of 7 out of 10. So it's not bad.
No,
Not bad.
I just never heard of it.
No, so it'd be interesting to try. It's a little bit of a punt, which you do like to do at a convention. So it's like Julian's choice.
It's like my
normally,
random choice.
yeah. Normally you go to the bring and buy, and then you have like £5 try and find something for less than that to buy. And so this is your kind of €10 version of that from the halls of Essen.
And I didn't buy it completely blind, or I didn't buy it at all. I wasn't there, but I didn't suggest it completely blind. I had checked and saw, what sort of game it was, and they've got a good pedigree. I think Alleycat Games. We had fun with Eternal Palace, and this is another kind of dice placement, so it's similar vein to that.
Really excited to play Borea, so
yeah. So I'm pleased you managed to swing by and grab that.
I didn't pick up Arborea because I do know that I will be able to pick it up here, because Alleycat Games are based in the UK, and again that was a luggage consideration. So I would have picked that up if it thought that it would be difficult to get it otherwise, because that game looks right up my street. And yours, I think. So yeah, super excited for that. And you would have seen a little bit of footage of that game in my vlogs whilst I was there, because gosh, does it look beautiful. It really does.
Your next purchase is one I was kind of hoping you would get. And it's your birthday coming up, and I've been toying with the idea of getting it for you. And I was like, well, I must wait until you've been to Essen, because there's a chance you're going to get it.
I went to Ryder Games, and they very kindly, I mean, they didn't gift any this, but they did basically give me a content discount. So effectively, I paid for this pack, which has the core game and one set in it, and then they gifted me this one in order to play a little bit more, which was very kind of them. So sort of paid for this, but definitely paid for those. And I'm really, really excited to get into Final Girl. You've been doing Detective City of Angels as a sort of a solo thing, which is also by Ryder Games. And so we thought it'd be fun for like a his and hers solo thing. And I'm looking forward to getting into these. I see loads of people that are absolutely loving this.
Jamie from Foster Meeple was obviously a big cheerleader for this game.
Even more so now.
Absolutely. And Paula Deming similarly.
Exactly.
Absolutely loves it. So yeah, I'm pleased you're dabbling in that, because you've often talked about playing a solo game or having a solo game, and this seems very much your kind of thing. And I absolutely adore Detective City of Angels. So if you can find a game that scratches that kind of solo itch the same way it has for me, then super.
And it's coming up towards Halloween, so I feel like what a good excuse to start with Final Girl on Halloween.
Now, the last game I have in this bout is a game you technically paid for but didn't pay for, because you got this free when you buy other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, loads of different stands do it with this game. It was all over in the halls that when you spend so much or whatever on their stand, then you get this little game of Similo, and it's all like board game versions of things. So just a little pack of cards that people are sort of gifting, but you have to have bought some things for that.
So I think
It'll be
A fun
fun.
little reminder of Essen.
Yeah, I've not played that game. I know they tend to do versions of it each year. That's I saw it last year. They had a different version. I think could have been the same. Um, but I know that it was being gifted in a similar way last year. So I get the impression they do sort of like a slightly different version as a gift thing each year. But I haven't actually played it, so it'd be interesting to try it
10
out and
minutes
see
to
what
play
it's
it, so
like.
we will play it after we finish filming.
Little celebration.
Now, there's more big games to come, but let's
Yeah.
take a little sidestep into the weird kind of curios that you pick up. And this is what I love about expos or conventions or Essens. Is it an expo? Is it a convention? I don't.
It's everything.
It's a biggest thing in the world.
It's all of them put together, the size of it.
I love being able to get access to, not the normal things for familiar games, and that's what you've done. You've hoovered up a lot of kind of promos, some of which you paid for, some of which were given.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I was gifted essential a brew kit to make a cup of tea from the UK Games Expo. I had meetings with them, and they were going round with everyone they did have meetings with, and they've got some in here. You get an appointment card for the meeting, but also tea bag, milk, sugar, and biscuits.
Are they proper British biscuits?
Oh, let's find out.
I'm gonna be disappointed if
I didn't actually have time to have my
what.
brew kit,
Okay, so
which
what counts as a British biscuit? I'm gonna be disappointed if it's a cookie. I want to digest it.
oh,
Oh,
it's
so it's a bourbon.
Bourbons. That counts as a British
That's a
classic.
fine classic British.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hope
So
Earl Grey tea.
well done to them.
No,
I
not
mean,
Earl Grey. British English breakfast tea. I don't drink tea, but
it's
Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire tea,
Well
and they
done,
gave
UK
me
Games
a
Expo.
lovely cup of Yorkshire tea when I was on the stand, and it was much needed that morning because I had not had any caffeine at that point. So thank you to UK Games Expo for the brew kit.
Now, something I was excited about because we said how much we've been enjoying among cultists
Mm-hmm.
was they were giving this away when you bought the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we got it obviously because we've been doing content with Godot Games. And this is Meets the cat. Now, Meets, was he there?
Oh, he was. So you could. So he's a character drawn by Michael Menzel, who's very famous games designer. Has done games like
hmm
Dragonkeepers, for example, that we spoke about earlier, Andor,
and Meets the cat.
and Meat. He is like a mascot for Essen. He was there there was a stand in the Galleria area, which is that a long corridor where there's loads of food and bits and bobs. But you also get kind of like a bouncy castle in there and people doing mini axe throwing and all sorts of crazy stuff. But there was also a section where you could take your figure of meat and paint it yourself for
Okay.
kids. And
I
there
would have
was
done
a couple of other things. I mean, for adults too. Yeah. I think they did advertise it for both. And I think there was a couple of other bits and bobs around, but obviously the main Essen thing at the front door was that kind of like cartoon style
The questionable art
people.
that we are
Yeah.
many very angry about. I'm not going to go into too much about that. I was just sad that Meeps, I thought was really great. I thought that's a fun thing. And then
Yeah.
he kind of disappeared a little bit in the promo. Anyway,
But he does look cute, and he is on this promo for Among
so he's in the
Cultists.
Monk Culture, which is just a new character. So sadly, Meeps
Yeah.
can turn into a
And
ghost Meeps.
Ghost version as well. And I've been told if you're going to play Among Cultists and have the opportunity to take a cat with you,
No
you
one's
should.
gonna kill a cat.
They might.
But
They
yeah,
might.
so this is exactly the
So
same.
you've got the disc, you've got some bits and pieces for him as a character, and so yeah, that would be fun.
It's a fun thing, and yeah, we are enjoying that game.
I went to the Dice Tower they obviously do a Kickstarter every year. And quite often I really like some of the bits and bobs that are in the sort of promo packs that they put together. But I often find that I want one game from this
Mhm.
pack, one game from that pack, another bit from something else. And then I wonder, for the price of the pack, yes, obviously you're doing it to support them, but then with shipping and bits and bobs like
Yeah.
that, does it sort of work in terms of what I need? And was a fantastic way to still be able to support them and get what I wanted. So
And I think it is good to support them because we watch a lot of Dice Tower. It's
Yeah.
it's if there's a way of contributing and please there is.
Yeah. So these are most of them about $5 each, or no, €5, sorry, each. But there were a few others that were a bit different. Obviously, they had things like play mats and other bits and bobs there as well. But the ones that I have picked up.
So you've got Everdell
Mm-hmm.
so it's the courthouse, which I think is already in the game, but it's a dice tower version of it, which
It's
is
court of approval.
which is fun. Just one cards.
Yeah.
Quite a selection here. I think there's 5 in here.
Yeah.
Which is always fun. That'd be good when they come out, particularly at our kind of board game group. Less so with our family, and they go, "Well, who's Tom? What's that there?" But I think,
But I remember playing like huge group just one at Aircon last year, and it being so much fun. So adding that sort of pack in to play at those sorts of occasions with loads of people would be really fun.
you've got the dice tower for
Dinosaur
Dinosaur
World.
World.
Yeah, I mean this is going to force me to get that back to the table,
I've
isn't
been
it?
meaning to it, and it's good
Yeah.
because we've got the Kickstarter version, so we had everything you could possibly get for the Dinosaur World.
Apart from that.
So now we have a complete
Yes.
Dinosaur World, which is great.
Yes.
And finally, you mentioned earlier how much we love Bitoku, and now we have the dice tower
Yes.
for Bitoku.
Yes.
Much like you, I would like to hoover up anything that says Bitoku on it because I absolutely love that game.
Love it. Oh, and we also have over here the Spice Tower for Flamecraft. So that's a fun one to add.
I'm really
into
pleased we
that.
got that because
Yeah.
I mentioned other videos. There's a bit of a kerfuffle with us getting the Kickstarter version. Not going to go into that. And that was the only thing we didn't end up being able to get. So we now have proper Kickstarter version of Flamecraft, which is good.
Yeah. And I also have the Rare Medium, which is another promo card for Flamecraft. Then do stay tuned to the end of the video because I might be mentioning something about a giveaway.
Ooh, exciting.
Yes. And thanks to Rosie at Cozy Board Games, who's also working for Cardboard Alchemy, I managed to get a lovely, super pretty badge for Flamecraft. Just looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the artwork for this and for Critter Kitchen that's coming out, just phenomenal. And also these lovely little bookmark set with all the dragons on those. They were also gifted to me, so that was very lovely. And I've got a few other bits and bobs here whilst we're on this sort of promo and bits and things. I have a couple of dice, which were exclusive dice for Wellycon, the New Zealand convention that happens that every year they have a special die, and one of the sides has like the little Wellycon logo on there or something to do with the game that it's promoting, etc. So every year the dice is different. So I have the last couple of years worth of those. So that was nice to be given those. These were getting given out everywhere. I mean, I went to a Devir event on the Friday night and there was literally a truck of them just being handed out to everyone. Just little phone holder things, but like
nice.
Yeah, like it'll be handy on my desk. So, and it says Gus Spiel, so it reminds me of the Games Expo every time I look at it. And another promo card was for Raiders of the North Sea. I have here, so there's a character here, and again that was from a Wellycon that was done for that, and then has been distributed since then. I'm not really a promo or anything, but I did pick up these from Banzainator, who I met when we were there and said hi. And she was like, "Oh, do you want my card and everything?" And it's super glossy and fancy, so it looks cool. So, yeah, we'll keep hold of those.
Nice on memories. Now, next batch are games you're going to see a lot more of because they were given to us to do content on. So we didn't pay for any of these, they were all given to you. And one that I'm really excited about is a game called Redwood. And I saw this, I was excited about it before the UKGE Expo.
Yeah, I think that's when you mentioned it first.
And we didn't get a chance to see it there because the stand was always very busy and we were also very busy as well. So I'm really pleased you kept in contact with Sit Down, you arranged a meeting to see them, and I think they were aware of our enthusiasm for this game and they said, well, if you're excited about Redwood, have a copy. So yeah, and it's an exciting theme, it's an unusual theme.
Yeah, it literally was being shown, I think, for the first time at Essen. I think that the big thick Kickstarter version is being delivered any moment. But I was lucky enough to sit down to take me through into their sort of press area where they have the games laid out, so they could talk me through how it works, what happens exactly in it, more than we'd sort of discovered ourselves, which was nice. And it just looks right up our streets. You're creating these sort of panoramas of pictures of which you're going to see sort of what animals are in your vantage point. Like, is the sun behind you, in which you'll get some extra points if you've got the sun in your picture. And there are these very durable, I think they're sort of plasticky, but they're bendy and durable things that you can work out, your viewpoint and how much you can see exactly, and what's there. And it just looks right up our street.
It's
So
a
I'm super
really
excited
lovely
to play.
production. In circle board, that's always fun.
Yes.
Really cute minis, and it's just an unusual thing. It's just doing something different, and it looks magnificent. So I'm really excited you got this one.
Yeah, and I've started painting recently. You might have seen that for the sort of first try, and this might be another one where I could sort of maybe have a go at painting the photographers and see how they come out. So
really cute minis.
That will just be like a bit of practice.
It'll just add a little extra layer of gloss to an already beautiful game.
Yeah, so that'd be nice. And whilst I was there, they also gave me maps of Mysteria.
Yes, I didn't know anything about this game until.
Well, I've only seen bits relatively recently, because again, I think it was a launch there, or certainly very recently, and you're sort of discovering this world as your sort of tile placement or tile discovery. And sort of my map might want me to do certain things, your map's trying to make you do certain things. And when you first look at something, it's sort of a little bit clouded. And until it's been sort of confirmed twice, it can change. So on the main map, you might think, oh, I've discovered that and I've got that where I need it to be for my points. But in actual fact, your opponent can come along and then have a look at that area for themselves and then end up changing it to something they need it to be. So I think it's going to be really interesting in terms of what's on your player board and what's on the main board, and trying to work out how you can manipulate to get what you want in both to be what you need, and how you're sort of discovering this different island. So it looks fun play, tile placement, as I said. Tile manipulation slightly.
It's always nice to be surprised. It's nice to go, oh, I hadn't heard about that, and it seems great. So looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. And they showed me through a few other things they have, specifically some family games coming up sort of next year. So we might see some more from Sit Down later in the line, but certainly you'll see things from these two games coming up in the next sort of month or so. I also was gifted, I mean, this is the romance edition, but just on the cover. So this is from Bright Eyed Games, and they have put in The Plot Thickens, and there is like a romance one, maybe I think a thriller or detective, like different genres of them. And in this box, they've got sort of 3 mini ones, and they can all be sort of merged together to create these different stories. So we've got sort of 3 mini stories, so we get a flavour of each of the styles that they're doing at the moment, which is what they've done for the review copies. But people in general would pick a style and then go with that one, but then later down the line they could pick up another one and then merge them. And inside it's got all of the sort of little components that we need for each. So there's some little spaceships for that's all romance stuff, but and there's some hearts for the romance and things like that. So there's nice components in here. So that would be interesting I mean, I don't really know how it game plays or anything, so it'll be really interesting to dive in and see what this is all about and how those things sort of merge together.
So it's more of a me game than a you game.
I think so.
I really enjoy those kind of narrative, almost interactive books, really, that I've been playing recently. So it sounds like it's in keeping of that. So it does sound like a game
and they can be the kind of games that I don't naturally want to pull off the shelf, but actually when they're out and on the table, I'm really having a good time. So I think certainly some of the other genres I think would be your
I
bag.
enjoy playing those while traveling. So while on
Yeah.
the train, and they're quite good to take with you, having a mini break somewhere, or just to have something with you that's not as demanding of a table, for example. But yeah,
But I'm intrigued by this. And I'm part of me is thinking, romance. I mean, are we talking like Downton Abbey? Are we talking
I,
like
I
Obsession, but
think
in
it's
a
full on Meals of
theme?
Boone.
I mean, it might be. It might be. She's got a little bow on her outfit. It looks period. So
It's
that
romantic.
would be a bit more up my street if it was a period thing. We'll see. The other thing that I sat down and played a little card game that was just, I mean, sometimes you walk around Essen and you think, gosh, I'm walking around these halls and I'm getting nowhere. There's no free tables. It's really busy trying to get from hall to hall. I can't get anywhere near the stand that I'm interested in. And then you get to the point where you just think, someone let me play a game. Um, and I was lucky enough to pass by his table that was empty, and it had this two-player card game on it. And the guy there very kindly bought me it, and it's a deck builder. I had quite a bit going on, and I was obviously taking some footage for the vlog. And they said, "Why don't you take a copy, have more plays, and enjoy it at home?" And so I'm looking forward to doing that. And it's nice to have another kind of two-player
Yeah.
card game, and it's got a bit more going to it, but 20 to 40 minutes, 14 plus. It 1 to 2, so it does also have a solo
Yeah.
mode with the cards that were in there that he did mention at the time. But yeah, it was interesting in terms of what you needed to buy, how you could upgrade your deck, how you could get rid of things. So that traditional sort of deck building
We've been
stuff
enjoying those
going
kind of
on.
games recently.
Yeah.
We've been playing a nice bit of Viking Raiders.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm very much enjoying those kind of things. So it'd be interesting to see a new one.
Yeah. And talking of deck builders,
So yes, this wasn't something you picked up at Essen, but it's something that arrived while you were at Essen,
yeah.
and you were intending to get it at Essen, but then you thought, well, let's avoid sticking something in a suitcase. So we actually got this from our friendly local game store, which for us in the southeast of England is Chaos Cards.
Hmm.
We They're our kind of go-to, and if you're interested in buying from Chaos Cards, there's actually a discount in the description.
There is indeed. So
Uh,
you can get a little bonus off of a basket if you're doing an online shop for them over £35. But I did also see that in the press preview area, and I think you might have seen it in
yes,
the vlog. Whereas I've been
so
like,
that's the
oh,
game you were talking
something's
about.
coming.
It was this.
It was that one. So that's why I felt like I could include it in this Essen Hall video because it's just arrived whilst I was away. And it's one that I've been looking at for ages because Star Wars.
Hmm.
And you'd been a bit like, oh, we've got loads of Star Wars games.
Also, we invested so much in Lorcana, and I
Yeah.
thought, well, do I want to have another uh, collectible card game where you have to keep
Although
buying?
this
But
is a deck
it's a
builder
deck builder,
rather
and
than
it's
a.
all self-contained. So
Mhm.
you don't need to keep buying expansions or booster
I
packs,
mean, they
or
might come out
they may
before.
well come out, but there's enough in here to play a proper game,
Yes,
which
yeah.
is what excites me. And we love Star Wars.
Yeah, and I've heard such great reviews about this one. People have raved about it. And yeah, I feel like come May the 4th, we'll
Yeah,
need it.
may well.
Mhm.
Now, you may have recently noticed we have just posted our 300th video, which I find
Yay!
remarkable. We never intended to even make a YouTube channel in the first place. We just kind of
Right.
stumbled into doing it, and now we've made 300 videos.
Whoops.
So, in association with Cardboard Alchemy, we have our first ever giveaway.
We do indeed. We have 20 of these rare medium cards to give away for the little shots in Flamecraft. And we are going to give away 10 here on our YouTube channel and 10 on our Instagram. So you could double up your chances of
Hmm.
winning if you want to take part in both parts. So what you need to do if you would like to win the Rare Medium Shop promo card for Flamecraft is, of course, subscribe to our channel. And we want to hear from you what you would name your shop for Flamecraft, but we want it to be a pun. There's the Spice Tower instead of the Dice Tower. There's the Rare Medium. There's so many
There's lots
great
of,
names of
yeah,
shops.
so we want to hear a witty pun
Yes.
that you could come up with a shop. And this competition is open worldwide. So if you're in America, I know a large majority of our audience are in America, and you want a chance to win this, feel free, and we will cover the cost of postage to you, just as a way of saying thank you. Really,
Yes.
because if no one watched our videos, we would have stopped doing this a long time ago. So we very much appreciate all the kind of views we get. And yeah, so it's a fantastic opportunity for us to give something back. And thank you for all the kind of watching these 300 videos.
Yes. And of course, if you want the second chance of winning, also go onto our Instagram, Box Meeples, and make sure that you are also following us on there. You can name the shop on there too.
Yep.
There'll be a post to do that on. And if you would like to tag a couple of friends in there to encourage them to follow us too, then we'd be most grateful, but you don't have to. So that would be
so obviously, if you are not already subscribed to us, now is the time to subscribe, because there's a chance you can get stuff. Obviously, if you're already subscribed, don't double subscribe. That's not even possible. I think if you just press the subscribe button again, it'll unsubscribe. Don't do that. So only if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe.
But if you are already subscribed, you can mention in the comments that you're already a subscriber and still name your shop.
It's all fine.
Still get to take part.
Generally, we want to give these away. So, and yes, so comment down below, not just on Flamecraft and your witty name for a shop. Also, what sort of games have you seen here that you're excited by? Is there anything that Libby missed that she should be kicking herself for, or we should be looking to buy from the local games store?
I have an extensive list of things that I've added to my wish list that I will be picking up as a result of Essen, that I didn't pick up the show, but they will be. They will be coming to the
shelves
at some point.
But as always, thank you so much for watching us on these 300 videos, and of course watching today.
Bye.